Hi.
How's it,
Hello, hello.
James?
All good, all good. Here we go. Everybody's filing in. How's it, Christelle?
I'm good yourself.
I'm very well, thanks. I always say if it's not raining in Cape Town, it's a good day. So it's a good day. That's my barometer. Let's see. Talon, how's it going?
No, okay, thanks.
Good, good.
Mm.
Inga,
Working.
are you happier today than you were last week?
Yeah, all good.
All good. That's what we like. Andre, how about you?
I tell you, today I've got version 5648. So I hope it's I'm winning this thing.
I'm sure you will be. Dr. Becker, how are you? Long time no see. Literally, because we never see you. This is the first time we're seeing you. We're not hearing you though. The mouth is moving, but the sound is not emanating.
Hello.
Ah, there we go. How's it? There we are.
Why does that happen every time I connect? That doesn't make sense.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
I'm good. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, good,
And
good,
how
good.
are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, the sun is shining. In fact, I'm going for a walk when we're done here. So,
Okay. Good for you.
so there we go. Bruce, how's it?
Yeah, all good, thanks.
There we go. Jesus, is this the full team today? Are we waiting for the? Oh, mind you, it's only a minute. Calm down.
Waiting for the bomb squad to arrive.
Well, yeah, we're waiting for the bomb squad. Because like I was up early this morning, and I've sort of I almost feel like a bit like Inga was explaining to me last week, and I'm like just behind because you just finish one meeting and you get into another one, and it's just like and that's why I thought I had less time than I did. So let's give it another minute or two, and then we will dive in. Okay. I'm expecting quite a few. I've only actually heard from one or two people that they're not coming. Okay. So while we wait, let's do a quick recap. Let's move us all out the way. I get big so I can see everyone. Okay. So this is where we're at. So today we're going to talk about your extended value proposition. But before we do that, quick recap. So week one, we picked our niche, or the people that we want to sell our products and service to, because they are the best group of people to be serviced by our product or service. Then we came up with kind of a value proposition, I suppose, the magic message, which is the headline in LinkedIn language, where we're solving the biggest problem for them. So it's like, if I could give you a result you 100% really want in a specified amount of time while eliminating something you hate, would you be interested? Then we stacked on top of that the banner and the profile pic, because understanding that we've got a very short attention span, these are the visual elements that tend to draw people in. So we created that, and then we got into the about section, and we started looking firstly at the hook, and basically turning our magic message into a small value proposition statement. And then last week, which we're going to go through now, we spoke about the personal why story. We spoke about answering these different questions. How did you get into doing what you're doing? Why did you get into it? Why do you continue to do it? And why are you doing it specifically for your particular niche? And then a little bit later on today, we will get into the expanded value proposition, which is not too taxing, but it allows you to expand things a little bit in terms of that short little opening hook and the value proposition statement that we created. So let me pull us back. All right. So, Andre, am I going to pick on you because you're first?
Let me just push all the buttons and get this thing to work.
All right. So did you give your story a little bit of thought?
I gave it a lot of thought.
Ah, okay.
That's why, that's
is
why I
this
said version 6748.
all right?
I think we're getting closer. I'm quite keen to hear your feedback. I've also had some serious help from Christelle.
All right. Tell us your story. So
James,
let me say something to you. Yeah.
you must. I can't share.
All right. Let's. This is your host is a terrible. Okay. All right. I'll have a word with him. Okay. He says you can share now. Try now.
Great, excellent. I hope I'm sharing the right thing. So, okay, so as I said, between Christelle and myself, if we just go back, if you don't mind, to the banner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've asked Christelle to keep it clean and simple and take away logos and all sorts of stuff, and just to focus on the message. And there's two that we thinking about, which one of the two, or a version of the two, or some feedback that you can, if you don't like either of the two. So we ended up with this: unlock your brain superpowers for enhanced success. And then the third line is the one that differs between the two: elevate your business strategy through neuroscience. Let's connect. Or book your brain profiling session today. Discover your leadership potential.
Not 100% sure. Elevate your business strategy through neuroscience. Actually, I don't hate that, to be honest. Because that gets you thinking. Because the job is not to sell you on the proposition. Yeah, I'd probably take out the let's connect piece there.
Yeah. Okay.
I would just let that
Yes.
stand alone. Don't mess with the idea there. I know we're looking for a call to action, but there's other places for that. So
Yes.
if you took that out, that's actually yeah, it'll definitely get you thinking. Because remember, also you sort of pre-chosen the people that you're speaking to, and then book your brain profiling session today. Discover your leadership potential. Again, either of those could work. I'd probably change that around. I'd discover your leadership potential first, and then I'd go for the call to action. It's like asking for something before you've given value. Just turn around and give the value first, and then ask. Either of those probably work actually, depending on who you were speaking to. So obviously, if you're speaking specifically leadership, depending on who you're targeting, then that would be the one. Otherwise, you could go with the other one. But I'd just make those two subtle changes. Anyways,
Okay.
I'm not going to dally too long here because story can be long, and I've got to get through all of you. So
Okay.
let's get you to move to next thing.
The why is quite. I found it very difficult because I mean I ended up with almost 2 pages, and then I had to cut it, and then I had to cut it, and then I had to cut it again. It was for me very difficult to keep it short.
Okay.
So let's give it a go, and then you can tell me too long, too short, not hitting the note. After selling my IT company, I began mentoring startups and SMEs through a business incubator role that quickly turned into a passion. Over nearly 4,000 hours, I've helped entrepreneurs navigate critical decisions, partnering with incubators and the World Bank to support leaders facing high-stakes challenges. Along the way, I saw firsthand emotional and financial toll businesses take on individuals and families. Many of these hardships could have been eased with the right support, guidance that considers both the business and the person behind it. This led to me in specializing in coaching, focused on understanding how our brain shapes decisions and the resilience.
Brilliant.
And the last part is my purpose is to empower leaders to make better decisions for themselves and their teams. By working with senior management teams of 5 or more, I strive to make a meaningful impact in high pressure environments, helping them succeed with clarity and confidence. all starts with understanding how our brain makes decisions. It's called thinking about your thinking.
Very good. Just go back to your hook again. I know we skipped over that. So if I could provide you with a brain profile in just 40 minutes, giving you the ability to accurately predict and correct future decisions and actions even before they're made, would you be interested? Yeah. So you obviously you read that together. Yeah, I like that story for a lot of reasons. There's probably nothing in there I would throw out now. I mean, I say throw out now because you'll see we're all going to be frustrated at the end because we've got 2,600 characters in total. But in fact, you've already covered some of the key aspects which are coming in the bits to come. But yeah, it's all about you. There's no real confusion. We know who you are. We've got a sense of the fact that you have some expert credibility in the space after spending 4,000 hours. We're getting a bit of a feel for it. We know why you're doing it, what it's about. Yeah, I think that does a very, very good job of getting it across. So yeah, the other 5,000 versions you did before were worth it to get to this one.
Sorry,
I like it.
I know you need to move on, but do you mind if we just take a, that the about section, and we just quickly take a look at that as well, because that changed. Did you know that research shows our brains are on autopilot with 90% of our decisions driven by emotions? Imagine the impact if you could understand and manage these critical subconscious choices. Are you ready to take control of your subconscious and make your own decisions?
Scroll up a little bit for me. I see magic message. I really like that first piece. Did you know that research shows? I might get rid of the did you know part, and it might be long-winded. I just say research shows.
Okay.
Our brains are on autopilot with 90% of our decisions driven by emotions. That's quite cool. And it's very much at the heart of what you do. And it's not something that people are thinking about, because everybody seems to think they're in control of stuff.
Yeah.
So I really like that as a hook. Imagine the impact if you could understand and manage these critical subconscious choices. Or you take control of your subconscious and make your own decision. That next bit falls a little bit flat. That last sentence. So everything up to there, and you probably find that that's about where you're going to get to before the Seymour anyway. Okay. So that's just the wrong place for it. So it's not that it doesn't belong; it just doesn't belong
the last
there.
sentence.
Yeah. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet, because that might go right at the bottom when we get there as a call to action. But I think if you've nailed that first piece. Let me just read that again. Did you know the research shows that our brains are on autopilot, 90% of our decisions driven by emotions? Imagine the impact if you could understand and manage these critical subconscious choices. There probably needs to be a little piece in there, sort of between this and the why I do what I do, like just creating the value prop. Because you've skipped the value proposition statement. You got it in the magic message, right? But you've skipped it here. Because you've gone into the imagine the impact. But it's like, okay, I imagine the impact. Now what? Tell me what you do with that impact, and then you get into the story so that the story makes sense, right? Otherwise, there's no real bridge from the about section to the story. So I would take out the are you ready to take control? Even if it's the next sentence, it doesn't matter. And then you need to bring in something about your magic message. So if I could provide your brain with a brain profile in 40 minutes, giving you the ability to accurately predict future decisions and actions even before they're made. So take that, sort of take that idea and incorporate it. So in the magic message, you asked a question. Here you're just stating what you do.
Okay.
So I would just to repeat, I would take out the did you know that part, get rid of that, because characters are important and you've got to get them straight into it. Research shows, bang, end of story. Get rid of the are you ready, or just copy and paste it somewhere else for later use, and then just bring a little piece in about, you know, not the whole thing. I can provide you a profile in 40 minutes,
Yes,
not that,
yes,
but
yes.
the bit about giving you the ability to accurately predict. Because if you're saying, imagine the impact this could have if you could understand and manage these critical subconscious choices. You know, I give you the ability to predict future decisions and actions before they're made. In fact, say that just exactly like I said it to you. Don't ask me to repeat it because I probably can't. And then you're actually in good shape. Now it's everything's congruent now. So from your banner to your measurement, you're starting to see how this thing flows.
Yeah.
Also, like and one of the most important things is that by the time we finish with this, everybody here will be able to promote you to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like that's your goal, right? It's like
Yes.
you got to get everybody else to the point where they know you so well that if they saw an ideal client, they would know it and they would know what to say to the person. Say, you know what, you got to speak to Andre.
Yes, yes.
So kind of cool. But yeah, you have come an immensely long way. Hugely long way since we
Yeah.
started.
Many hours later.
Yeah, but your many hours later will serve you very, very well. You've actually done a really good job. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, who's next? Delvin, it's you. You're on my screen. You are next. We still can't hear you. You're on mute still.
Okay, I just need to share my screen. I just can find the right one.
All right.
Okay. There I've put my.
Okay, read it to us. I'm going to play Prospect while you
Okay.
you
For
read it.
20 years, I worked closely with small service businesses, often as the right hand to my boss, handling everything from office management to accounts. It was just the two of us, and I loved seeing my bosses prosper while I managed critical details that kept their businesses running smoothly. This experience showed me the unique pressures and triumphs of a small service business and sparked a passion for supporting them. I founded GWiz Business Solutions because I understand the balancing act small business owners face, especially when unexpected life changes arrive. As a wife and a mother, my husband and I planned for me to work half days so that I could be present for our children. But when we relocated from Ballito to Kempton Park for his job, everything changed. Shortly after the move, my husband was retrenched for a second time, and I took on the role of sole breadwinner, carrying the financial responsibilities of our family over the next 8 months. Let me know. Sorry, no, ignore that. That's not supposed to be
Okay. Make it be gone.
Yes.
Just like that.
That experience taught me the importance of financial resilience and the peace of mind that comes with having organized, reliable finances. GWiz Business Solutions was born from this understanding. My mission is to help small service business owners take full control of their powers, providing audit-ready accounts within 3 months and eliminating the stress of compliance. I know their journey, their struggles, and their resilience, and I am passionate about transforming financial chaos into clarity so my clients can focus on what they do best.
Yeah, I think that's also very good. There's not a whole lot I would chop and change there. I might make a few small tweaks, particularly the bit about where things go a bit pear-shaped, like from one place to another. Maybe too much information. If you've got space, leave it in. If you haven't, we'll adjust it later. But a great story, right?
Okay.
There's no real confusion. We know what it is you do. There's quite a few interesting things that have happened. I don't know whether you did it intentionally or not, but you talk about as you were reading it, I was thinking, should she say that? You refer to your boss and your bosses a lot, and it's. I thought to myself, she's taking a subservient approach, but it's kind of like, okay, you can be the boss. I'll just do what you want me to do, because that's kind of how you. So
that's
I
my
thought about it. I thought,
role.
actually, that actually plays out quite nicely, particularly with the rest of the story. So there's a little bit about you as person, right? Mother, wife, the fact that you can deal with a little bit of hardship, etc. Like that. Like people like that sort of thing, right? Because that does humanize us. And you've related everything back to like how you got here and why you do what you do. Like there's nothing to not understand here. People are going to, I think the message is clear. I think people will resonate with it. So I think it's a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, you guys are on fire today. No pressure, Benita.
All right. So mine is very short because it's like probably my personality is like to the point. But when I worked with it, I worked with it like a long time. So I think it was a long story, and now it is shorter.
It's a long story. That's why it's short.
Yeah. So it's not as
I would
but-
have written a shorter story. I just didn't have time. That's the famous quote.
yeah. So sorry.
Can you make that a little bit bigger? Yeah, it's the blind folk, the rest of There we go. Okay.
So, with 14 years of experience as a chartered accountant, I've seen how poor financial management can hold businesses back. My goal is to help business owners avoid this problem by giving them the tools to manage their money better and plan for growth. There we go. Just thought. Yeah.
You could probably do a lot better there. So there's not a lot of personality in there. And you know, I think one of the things I'm finding with LinkedIn a lot is that, you know, obviously AI is coming in and people are starting to create, you know, a lot of very templated stuff. And you know, you could find a template and knock it out. So there's very few opportunities now for us to try to create that authentic connection. And so, you know, a lot of sort of how you got into it, because you're already starting at the end. I'm not saying it's horrendous. I'm just saying I think you could probably add a bit more, because I still don't know who's Benita the person. You know, what does she believe? Who is she? What did she go through to get here? Why is she doing this? Okay, you sort of told me. Why do you continue to? Why me? It's like I don't know enough about you. I want to know more about you in this whole process. So I would maybe just go back to the drawing board and see if you can create something a little bit different in terms of just bringing a little bit more of your personality into this, just to make it a little bit more personable.
Oh, no.
No, I'm an accountant. I have no personality. This is it. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
This is my personality, James.
All right. Well, in that case, it's perfect. So yeah. All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay. Christelle, you're up.
Right. Let me share my screen as well. 2 seconds. Let me just get this up. I'm worried that mine doesn't have much of a personality either. So this is my.
Can you make that a little bit bigger?
Yeah, sure. Let me just.
You know, let me get rid of all this nonsense on the side there. It'll help. Okay.
So I use this opportunity to have like a really strong call to action, but I need guidance as well. So I've got my hook here. It's what we discussed. So I pretty much left it because I think my hook and my value prop is nicely caught in, no pun intended, in that sentence.
Okay.
And then I've got the value prop and my about section combined, and then I've got further down a little bit more of a personal section.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys want to read it, or shall I just read it for you?
You should read it for us.
Okay, so the book is business owners waste up to 20 hours per week to on routine tasks, while 82% of entrepreneurs use virtual assistants report increased productivity and better work-life balance. Why this matters after watching
Why have you got a question mark there at the end of that?
I did a spell check. But I'll fix, let me just fix it while I'm here. So why this matters? After watching countless talented entrepreneurs burn out trying to do everything themselves, I built a system works to provide reliable, skilled virtual assistants that truly transform how business operates. Our mission is simple: give business owners their time back so that they can focus on growth and innovation. Then I've added what we deliver. So I set out what we offer: social media,
Okay,
executive level,
that's coming.
admin.
That's today's problem, not yesterday's problem.
Okay.
So that, we'll get to that. So go back.
I kept it very short, very short.
So that piece is fine, right? But there's a piece missing.
Personality.
It's like, well, it's not just personality. It's like, how did you get there? So, like, important.
It's a very long story.
Okay, it generally is a long story, and that's often the interesting bit that makes the difference, right? Is that long story is what tends to resonate with people. So if you think about it, from the time you were at school, so from matric, right, to where you are now, I'm speaking to everybody now, right? You've done something from a vocational perspective, whatever it happens to be. It really doesn't matter what it is. You've done something, and some of us have ended up a completely different place than we had anticipated. And some of us are in the same space, but even being in that same space has taken us in a direction. So you might have always known you were going to be an accountant, but you didn't know you were going to deal with energy friendly companies, for example. Something happened in the process to have made that happen. And often that's something that happened. That part of the story is the piece that you need to reflect, because that's the bit that people are looking at and are saying, oh, okay, I get that, right? And in that, often inherent is, okay, well, if it worked for them, it'll work for me. So typically the story is either you have an issue. So like in my case, it happened to me. I solved the problem for myself, and therefore I don't want it to happen to anybody else. So it's a very clear story. Most of us, that's not the story. Most of us did something, and I now ended up doing what I'm doing now. Then as I was doing the thing that I'm doing now, something happened with a particular client. That's often what happens. Something happened with this particular client. I solved that problem. That client told other people, or suddenly I realized I was good at it, or I went into that direction, and now that's what I do. That's a very, very typical flow. You'll often see one of those two types of flows. But what it is doing is it's giving people an insight into how the hell you got to where you are. Because it's all very well to say, okay, well, I'm a financial advisor. I always wanted to be a financial advisor, and here I am. Yeah, you can say that, but like, there's something missing. I don't really know, why do you want to be a financial advisor? Are you any good at it? Did like some shit happen in your past before that really gives you that drive and passion? I don't know. I just know you're a financial advisor. Now you're telling me something, right? When you say something without the story telling it, it's just you saying it. When the story tells it, now I put my own pieces to it, and I see the story and I fill it in, and I say, all right, now I can feel it, I can see it. I know this is the hardest piece to do, but this is the piece. If you get this right, this makes the biggest difference. This and magic message, like those two things move the needle absolutely the most. And I think with the nonsense with AI, I think you're going to find more and more that it becomes more and more important to personalize. So there's something missing in the long story. Take the long story and shorten it, but tell us that story, because in there is why you're doing what you're doing. You started it. This is what I'm doing, and this is why I do it. I don't know how you got there. Tell me about that, because often in the story, as we tell it, like if you got Delvin's story, for example, where there was a little bit of tragedy that happened, or a little bit of drama, people read into that. So now we know a bit about her. We know she's resilient. Like, we know she cares about her family. We know she cares about her boss. We know a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of us can start to fill in the gaps, and we'll all fill it in differently based on our lives to this point. It's quite a fascinating sequence of events. So yeah, pull that in. I think you'll You'll do a lot better if you fill in that first bit. All right. Editor hiding away because she knows she's next on my screen. Editor, are you there? Yes, no, maybe. All right, I think the editor's going to make coffee.
No, I'm
Ah,
here.
no, she hasn't.
You know what? It's you're always like looking. Where is this button? Sorry, I'm not the youngest one, and that's why electronic is sometimes on my word. Right now, it's me, and where's the button? And at the same time, I'm making notes, and I must be honest. Right now, when I've heard a couple of stories, I would just rewrite it and write completely something different. Because, opinion. Okay, so let's first do it share. And oh my God, what am I sharing now? Sharing my.
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay, this one. Share. Yes. Oh yeah, that's it. Were you there? Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
So first of all, I changed the banner, like you saw, and I also changed my like a top part. That's what I promised. I will work on it a little bit more. And then I went to the story, and maybe I'm not so creative, but there's not so many personal stuff, not so much of me, because I didn't know how to add it. So we can start from this one, but it's a little bit long one. Woo.
Okay. Start with no, it's fine. We do long. We're good.
I started my career in Poland, where I spent 10 years as the chief editor of a leading HoReCa magazine. This role gave me a deep understanding of the hospitality sector, from market trends to the operational challenges faced by business owners. It was an incredible experience that allowed me to build a vast network and gain insights into what makes a business successful. In 2013, I made a bold move to South Africa, setting in the Western Cape. For 7 years, I worked as a real estate agent specializing in commercial properties. And yeah, it was during this time that I discovered my passion for helping entrepreneurs navigate the complexities of buying and selling businesses. My master's degree in finance provided a strong foundation for analyzing business performance, while my experience in real estate honed my skills in negotiating and client management. You see, I just used like typical me, how I got into business brokering. I was fascinated by the process of evaluating businesses and homes, understanding their financials and connecting the right business with the right sellers. Business brokering felt like a natural fit, allowing me to leverage my industry knowledge and financial expertise. I put it actually the businesses, but honestly, I was selling more houses, and I think that maybe I should add it more. Why I continue doing it? What drives me in this field is a satisfaction of helping clients achieve their goals. Every deal is unique, and I love the challenge of navigating the complexities involved. The impact I can make by guiding clients through one of the most significant decisions of their life is incredibly fulfilling. Why I chose my niche. Specializing in a beauty and HoReCa industries was a strategic choice. My experience as a chief editor gave me an intimate understanding of the hospitality industry, while my time as a real estate agent exposed me to the dynamics of the beauty sector. I understand that specific challenges faced by these businesses, from operational issues to market positioning. This expertise allows me to offer tailored advice and strategic support, making me a trusted partner for clients in this industry. And it's not good. And I must be honest, when I'm reading it now, I would prefer to rewrite it. Why I would do it? Then let me tell you, because it was very, very difficult to move from Poland to South Africa, to learn new culture, new perspective, and I think this is what I should choose. I work with a lot of international also people, so I should rather choose also this kind of perspective. This is one of the things. And I don't know what else. I think it's a lot of blah, 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 and I should just make it much, much shorter. What do you think?
All right, take a breath. It's actually not as bad as you think. There's actually a lot in there that people can follow. I like your suggestion about the difficulty from Poland. I think if you bring that in, that'll show a lot of resilience. So I would add that, right? The only bit, funny enough, is the last bit where I think it loses focus a little bit in terms of the specific market, because there's too much going on there. But I'd almost say turf the last out to a degree, because you've probably answered the why already, that you're doing it for them. Honestly, I wouldn't change it a whole lot. Maybe a little bit, as you say, in terms of the difficulty in that journey, so that people can understand the resilience. But everything else is quite clear. Like there's a lot of experience, and once they understand the struggle, that then elevates you. It's because, like, geez, if she would do that, not coming to South Africa, not even being able to speak the language, etc. Geez, imagine how much effort she's going to go through to sell my business. And I'm not worried about that. You have the expertise, even though you may be relatively new in the space, because I'm looking at, you sold me on, listen, I've been in business forever. Like, I know what I'm doing, right? So I've been in business forever. I know what I'm doing. I've got resilience. It's like, yeah, I can deal with that. Yeah, you can sell my business. You understand? I don't care that you don't have 17 years of experience selling businesses. That's not the point. But your story has brought across. So your story is not nearly as bad as you think. I actually think up until that last bit where it just got a bit messy, because we've moved away from the actual magic message to the specific target market. So literally, if you just deleted that piece and added in that first bit that we spoke about, bringing in, as you say, a little bit of the struggle, I think you'll actually have a very good story. So don't rewrite it all. There's a lot of very, very good things in there, actually.
Thank you so much. But yeah, the truth was also that I've never saw myself in a selling industry, selling anything. I thought, no, I cannot actually sell anything because I cannot sell myself. And then I realized when I was selling properties that I'm really good in it, because most of my clients, it was through referrals, friends and people around me. And they later were so happy. And it's like, hey, one of the things what they told me was like, listen, I've never imagined that I can sell my house for so much. We really like crossed every borders. And that also gave me a lot of self-confidence.
Stop. That story you just told, put that in here.
Okay.
Do you understand how strong that is? Because like there's a motivation for you. It's like, shit, somebody said I did something amazing for them. Like then you can.
It was my friends, meaning that I still have friends after selling their houses.
Well, make that joke. Like, now you're adding personality. See, this is exactly it. It's like, just write like you speak, man. Just say it. Just put it down. But yeah, it's starting to, now it's starting to live and breathe. So it's fine. You start off with something, maybe that's a bit like a framework, and then you play around with it. You put these little anecdotes, these little stories, a little bit of personality. I think you're gonna have an absolutely phenomenal story when you finish. So play with it. Make those few changes. Don't worry about length just yet, right? At the end, once we've pulled the pieces, we decide what fits. We ask ChatGPT to help us, and then we knock out something awesome. So don't stress too much. That's why I'm not editing and going mad at the moment. Just like, there's an easier solution to that later in the process. Right now, we're just trying to get it across. But also, like, everybody here, right, with all the stories that have come out, like this today is probably the day where we're really starting to get an insight about each other, right? Everybody's starting to really understand now who the people are, because each week it builds and it builds and it builds. Now when you get to the story, now we're getting to know the people, right? And so this is I suppose it's for me, hoping to get us to the point that if we keep doing this, at the end of this, literally we all know a lot about each other and each other's businesses. That's going to be the process, is to be able to cross refer. So well done, editor. I think that was actually a very good effort, much better than you think. So make those tweaks. I wait in anticipation to see them.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Yeah, definitely working here just gives me a lot of new perspective, and it's very creative for us, just like gives me new ideas.
100%. Anyway, all right, well done.
Thank you.
Let's see who's next. Yvonne, you are next on my screen. Yvonne, are you looking for the button? I think Yvonne's off building an affiliate program for someone. All right, Yvonne, you can come back later. We'll ask Inga to fill in while we wait for you.
Rarig.
Rarig, prachtig, rarig.
Prachtig. Nee? Okay. So I think that's the wrong one. It's the right one. No, it's not that. Choose Bob shared the wrong one.
Good, Bob. Take it away.
Struis Bob. Oh, dit is nou nummer 2.
Does anyone know where that came from? Struis Bob. We should look that up. I want to know now. That's so stupid. Struis Bob, hey.
Bob, nee. Okay, so short and sweet. Not telling stories, just short and sweet. Magic message is empowering clients to make smart, informed property investment choices with seamless sourcing of properties in South Africa and the UK. Relationship builder. I'll build out on that as that evolves on its own. I'm not quite sure about the relationship builder yet, but that's where I'm starting.
Okay.
The about hook. So last week I had this whole blah, 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 blah. It blah, blah off the charts. So I've gone with, I've lost count of how many times I've had to step in and help clients burned by poor property investments. They were sold a pipe dream. The frustration, the disillusionment was real. I'm here to change that.
Okay.
Why I do it?
Yeah.
I know the reward property can bring when it's done right. These are not just transactions, but long-term relationships built on trust and open conversation. I don't walk away when the transaction is done. I'm here to support you at every stage, from purchase through to portfolio growth, so you always feel confident in your investment journey. And then we'll obviously add on all the perks after that.
Okay, but I'm missing a whole piece. I know we've lost count of how many times you help clients, but like what got you there? It's like there's something missing. Don't know the story. Like yeah, so now this is you telling me as opposed to the story telling me. So when you say it, anybody can say anything. That's where we're at. When there's a story that backs up actions or backs up words by actions, then people fill in the blanks themselves. So I think yeah, so
I've got many though. Which ones do I use?
So it's actually an interesting question. And a very good question. The answer is you use them all at the appropriate time. Which one do you use here? Typically, we've all got one core story of kind of how it developed. Is like, I mean, you've got a big nasty corporate background, but somehow all of that has led you to property and investments. So you almost just want to take the story and just create a bit of a bridge as to this is why you stop people being burned in the space. So whatever that main story is, you just need people to be able to see that link. All the other stories use or subplots, if you like, or sub stories you bring out, which is relevant for each particular client or each individual situation that you speak to. But there's a core story there. How did you get to A, to knowing so much about property, and then B, actually doing property deals? Like, what's that story? Okay. All right. But good. Thank you. Yvonne, have you found the button yet? I think Yvonne's still making tea. All right. We'll wait. Montebello, you're up.
Hi, James. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
All right.
Oh, gosh. Oh, see. Okay. All right. Yeah, you.
All right, there we go. We see your screen now. We've lost your audio. We're not hearing you.
Yeah. So I start from, remember, I hadn't had the opportunity to.
Oh, Lontebeka, we're not hearing you.
Hear me now?
Yeah, okay, try again.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. So I start with the banner because I think this is the first time I have the opportunity to share that.
Okay.
So I have these 3 options, and not sure. Um, okay, thank you. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Your in many ways you could actually pick any of them because your message is fairly clear. What you do have to worry about though is the left hand side. So the second and third banners are going to get crunched by your well, they're all going to get overshadowed because your profile pic is going to cover them. So it's not going to be a good look if it covers your logo. So to 2 and 3 you definitely need to adjust. 1, I don't know, you could technically have the scales. I wouldn't cover the scales either. So I'd make it smaller, move it to the side, or just have nothing and move the scales completely to top right, because top right is quite white.
Okay.
I don't know. Ask Christelle for advice in balancing, but yeah, you have a problem on the left hand side because you're going to cover everything. But the message is well, the first 2 are the same, and then they all work. Both of them. Corporate governance, go to for growth.
Okay.
Okay, right?
Then we did the about section, then the why story.
Wait.
Why story.
Wait. Start with the hook.
Go back to the hook.
Yeah, just scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Up.
So no, that's fine. So just start with effective corporate governance, and then start there.
Okay. So the opening hook and value proposition is effective corporate governance isn't just a legal obligation. It's the secret ingredient for long-term success.
Okay.
I'm here to help you embed governance practices that strengthen your business so you don't just survive, you thrive in today's challenging business environment.
All right. Got it.
Right. My why story is, for over 20 years, I've served on boards in both the public and private sectors. A key challenge I've observed is the range of skills, knowledge, and experience levels that board members bring, which can impact the board's ability to guide the organization effectively. I focus on nurturing the talents of board members, especially the less experienced ones, drawing from 4 decades of experience in law, banking, finance, and governance. I've seen executive and non-executive members thrive through this coaching and support. I've seen a significant impact in their engagement, participation, and overall board culture. This approach transforms board environments into a space for meaningful and productive discussion, leading to improved performance and at times even changing an organization's direction. My commitment is to create a board environment that is safe and inclusive, that values diverse perspectives. I will help your organization grow and
Okay. It's also very good, succinct. I'm just going to ask you a question. It might be rhetorical for now. You decide. But obviously, I've had more discussions with you, and you have a different history that doesn't come up, in terms of what you did, in terms of your legal career and having to leave and come back. So everything that I could possibly want as somebody serving on a board is here. I'm everything I need. I can see the experience. I can see everything that I need, and you've also gone to pains to show me a little bit of benefit. So I like the story. My question to you would be, does some of that, your formative years, does that not maybe play into this a little bit? Is there a reason you didn't bring it in? Did you not think it was relevant, or did you not want to bring it in?
Yeah. I can think about that. I didn't think that it was pertaining to governance issues, but let me not shoot my mouth. Let me just say, let me think about it and see if it is something that I can bring into this conversation as well. I thought it's set in a different conversation, and
So I see where your mindset and true. So you're right. You've covered the governance, and if you left it like this, it would be fine, right? I do think though some of the earlier stuff and some of those experiences show a lot about you as a person that I know that nobody else knows because it's not here. That stuff's amazing, and like I'd encourage you to bring some of that in. I'm going to leave it at that. You decide. But I think there's great power in that, and then the transition can be seen, particularly in the decision you made to enter and exit, the reasons you made them. I think that's like, what's more corporate governance-y than that? Think about that for a second. It's really powerful. So I'd like to leave you with that thought, and you decide if you want to bring it in. Okay. Right. But this is a good effort. This is good. People know what's going on. I think you could make it a lot stronger, actually, to be honest. All right, perfect. All right, well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see how are we doing. Bruce.
All right.
How's it?
Right, let's see if I can find this. One day I'll close all my other windows and make it life easier.
You won't.
Today's not the day, absolutely.
Today's not the day.
Okay. Right. There's obviously my key message is the top part. Then on the about, the hook is the need 100% funding. I'll do it for you. And then my story, 12 years I've been in housing finance institutions helping people do it. Now I'm independent. Why am I independent? Because that enables me to use multiple products rather than just one organization's products. And also I can then implement systems and things for the clients. Why does it matter? Only way I succeed is making sure my clients get what they need. If they don't get what they need, I'm stuffed as well. And my years of experience in the sector position me to give me the ability to actually know exactly what people need and understand which funders would be the right ones. So if they need equity, I know who to go to. If they need loans, I need to know who to go to. If they need green loans, I know who to go to. So I can do all that. And then how can I help? Working to ensure their needs are presented to the right funders that meet their requirements. And I can also give them confidence, because the raising funding is part of what I do, but being a fractional chief financial officer, it means that in a lot of the small businesses that I'll target, or medium businesses, I will go in as their chief financial officer, as a fractional chief financial officer, which will mean the funders are confident they're going to get the right financial controls in those companies.
Go back to the beginning. Beginning of your story, not the very beginning. So, starting there, right, from 12 years, I worked as an executive in housing finance institutions, helping businesses raise finance for affordable housing. Now, the bit from there to now I'm doing it independently, right? There's, I think you can strengthen that very significantly. So that's where you can talk about, potential experience, and again, why not milk the patriotism side of things, and I mean there probably is a fair degree of that. It's a very worthwhile endeavor, but it's just a cock up, and so maybe maybe it was easier for you to help from outside than from inside, because the wheels move a little bit slowly and grind along with inside. There might be something there, but so I think if you can show that, so you're showing the experience, but if you could just bring a little bit of your values, a little bit of your personality, a little bit of sort of a link as to, okay, so why, and maybe even if it's relevant, the bit of why and how you got into it in the first place. It may or may not be relevant. If it fits and it helps the story, yes. If not, no. But I think there's that little piece missing. If you can just create that little bridge of, that was the experience. This is why I decided to move, and if this is why I decided to move to help you guys, right, resonates with you guys, that's when the buy-in and that's when the story becomes really, really strong. But we see the flow. It's good. It's about the only thing I would think about improving.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Righto. Who's next? Are we going to try Yvonne again? Yvonne, are you back? Have you found the button? Yvonne, yay! Here you go. You were making meltdown, weren't you?
I was what? Meltdown.
Yeah. Never mind. Bad joke. Tell us your story.
Please keep me. Please keep me. I'm listening to all your stuff, and I did confess to Inga today that I haven't done my homework. I'm trying, but we did discuss the value of the things that you guys make us think about. I'm just playing catch up. I'm feeling horrible. I actually didn't want to come because I didn't do my homework. Then I thought, at least I want to be here to see you guys, but don't.
Right. Well, because you grace us with your presence, we feel blessed, and we're not going to put you in the naughty corner. You can stay and enjoy the rest of the show, because Marion is going to step effortlessly into your shoes now, and she's going to take the limelight from you, and you can relax.
Well, let's do it. That's two of us. I haven't made changes.
So she's not.
Yeah, but I have a reason for that. Is that I have been considering rebranding, and I knew that I had a strategy session with somebody around that this morning. So that's now over, and I now have much more clarity on what I really want to be doing. The video stuff was not resonating with me. So I thought there's no point in rewriting that about section until I know what I want to write about. So that there was a very good reason for not doing it. But now I do have a clarity. So I will do that. Okay. Where did you lose me? Have you lost me, or am I frozen?
That's me. Am I back?
Yeah.
Hang on.
I can hear you.
Right. Okay, I don't know what happened there. All right, sorry.
At what point did you lose me?
Where you had just had the
rebranding, the strategy
session, and you were about to change.
Yeah, so I can now redo that about session
because I'm going to redo everything.
I was going to say, sounds like you have to redo everything. If
Yeah. But it's been brewing for a while. So when we started out, I stayed with what was because that's all I had. But now I have clarity on where I'm going, so I can now go back and do the rest.
Okay. So do that. It should be easy because in the process you just
yes,
repeat
and
it.
it's not new. It's different to the video stuff, but it goes back to what I was doing before, but with more clarity.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So we will. Well, you can give us full rundown next week.
And just for fun, I googled Bob. It's Drew's Bob.
Oh yeah.
Realize it's actually a South African saying. It's not.
Oh really?
I thought it might have something to do with the shilling and being a silver coin, but it's not. Apparently, it's a corruption of the Afrikaans thing, Suvarse God. And they've changed God to Bob because obviously we weren't supposed to say that.
Yes. Okay. There you go. Robert. All right. Well, thank you for that. Namuli.
Hello. It seems the button is evading us.
It's the button. It's the button.
This button. Hey. All right. So, I'm a writer, so I should be confident around this, right? But it's easy to write fiction. It's a bit difficult maybe to get personal. So I will share what I wrote. I'm not too sure about it. I think it's an issue of how much do I want to share about that part of life, and then you can guide in terms of. Sorry, 1 second, Zuri, please give up a space. So you can then share in terms of, is it too much? Should I, maybe decrease that aspect, etc., etc. Okay, let me share screen. Okay. All right. So because this is still sensitive, I did it on Word. I didn't put it on Instagram. Usually I share the Instagram thing. So remember we started with, in a world where only 5% of the population can retire comfortably, the financial destinies of most people look bleak. Empower your employees and entrepreneurs to change their financial destiny. So then the about me thing is, shift this like this. I got to experience retirement in my mid-20s. My mother passed away, and that was the beginning of my financial odyssey. I resigned from my business analyst job in one of the major banks to go back to Durban to look after my younger brothers and the family business. Even though I had a BCom in economics and finance degree, I made some major financial mistakes due to financial ignorance. I had to sell my family home at a discount as it was about to be repossessed. My car was repossessed and I had to close the family business. I realized the gaps in my knowledge about money, business, and personal finances at the time. I empowered myself with principles of money, entrepreneurship, effective money management strategies, and financial psychology. After changing my relationship with money and getting out of financial challenges, I founded Money Fundi to help others to avoid the mistakes I made and equip them with the tools to improve their relationship with money and change their financial destinies.
Yeah, very strong. Your opening sentence doesn't gel for me. That's the only comment I would have. I got to experience retirement in my mid-20s. So coming shortly after your hook, I'm expecting something completely different. And so as you're going through the story, my mind is just saying, what does that mean? It's causing me distress as the reader. So you just need to change the wording of that. But the story is strong.
So maybe I should say I had to resign in my mid-20s.
Yeah, but you say I got experience retirement.
I was trying to do a play on words I was trying to do a play on words based on the above in a world where, you know, few people can retire comfortably. But I guess it's not a good joke. All right, so I had to resign. I had to resign in my mid-20s because that's what.
Oh, you could be more dramatic even. Like I would say all hell broke loose. My financial world imploded in my mid-20s. You know, you're the right to make it as dramatic as you need to. It's a dramatic statement. It's true. Like my world changed forever. And then you go in and you kind of explain it, and then now it makes sense, right? Now there's like no there's like I now know who you are, and I know why you're doing what you do, and it makes perfect sense. Like and like, but you guys also, if you just look at this on the screen, I mean you just look at it visually, not necessarily reading the words. It's short, right? It's a short story. You don't have to tell a long, involved story, but like you know everything you need to know. It's very, very powerful, the story. You know about him, you know about the trials and tribulations, you know who overcome them. And like if his situation was as dire as that, like yours is probably not as bad as that. So if he started there, you're not even as bad off as him. He can probably help you. So that yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I wouldn't change much other than that first piece. It's just like, yeah, just make the big bad statement right up front, suck them in and let them say, yeah, tell me more. Wow, okay, I'm all ears.
So it's still professional enough. It's not too.
No, it's perfect.
Personal, emotional, or something.
No, I think it's good. You know, I always say to everybody, you must say what is comfortable for you. Sort of bearing the platform in mind, but you haven't overplayed anything. You haven't told a massive sob story where like the world is ending. Your world did, and you've been very succinct to explain it. That's what people need to know. You can get a lot out of just those few words. Because remember, people fill in the rest. Like everybody fills in their own story based on their own circumstances. They know their uncle that where this happened, their parents, their friend, their something. The fact that bad things happened to you and it was calamitous, everybody relates to that. I promise you, it's happened to all of us some way, somehow. It relates. It's a great story. No, I think it's very good. All right.
Cool. I'll just have to get the courage to now put it on LinkedIn. Yeah, work on that during the week.
Yeah, I think if you sort of thinking about that and you're thinking about the courage thing, I think about it maybe a little bit differently. Is that you've been through a lot of struggle and you're wanting to resonate with people, and the reality is that you know that what you do can make a very significant impact in the lives of a lot of people. Like that's one of the great things about having a book. It's like you will help people that you will never even know. Never even know about it. But you will impact people in a positive way. That's one of the amazing things about being an author. And so like you have that opportunity and the ability to do it. It's like I always say, you must do if you can tangibly make a difference in somebody's life, it's incumbent upon you to do everything that you can to make sure that they get it. And a good story. I'm telling you that vulnerability in the story, and the fact that it happened to you, like nobody else can duplicate that. That's your story. When you now offer your product, it's grounded in something so emotional, so tangible, and it relates to you, and there's a very clear path as to why you're doing what you do. So yeah, just think about it that way. All right, cool. All right, so I've now got 20 minutes, but it's going to it's actually going, 21 minutes, 20 minutes. It's going to be 19 because I have to run to the toilet. I started a new eating regime this week, and you can see I'm drinking a lot of water. Excuse me for 1 minute, and I'll be back, and then we'll sort out today with you now. All right. Okay, so today, so the next piece in this little process is the expanded value proposition. Okay, so remember we created a hook, and then we've come up with that big punchy value proposition, which is based on our magic message. So it's solving the big problem. But you want to think about when people are reading your profile now, and now they're really trying to find out a little bit more about, what is it exactly that you do. So think of this as your sales page, right? So transitioning away from what we've done now, get into sales mode just for a second, right? As you do this, and ask yourself the question: what do people need to know about me, right? Or about what I do? Not so much me, sorry, about my product or service, and about what I do, to answer any questions that they may have about my product or service. Okay, that's kind of where your mindset is at. And this just gives you an opportunity should you need to expand on the value proposition. Some of you may not need to expand a lot. Some of you, this just gives you a little bit of extra opportunity to let people know it's in a little bit more detail what it's like to work with you and what the expectation can be. All right. So what I want to do is I want to give you a couple of questions that you can think about, that you can answer. Now, some of these might be relevant, they all might be relevant, none might be relevant, right? Just run with it and see what you end up with at the end of the day. Because sometimes in the way that we've told the story, we might have answered a lot of the questions. But if you feel that there's a piece missing, or there's something that you would like to say, that's a little bit more concrete about your product or service, because there's something that people keep asking you about, and it's better if you could just say it right up front, then put it down. So here's a couple of things to consider. The first thing is, well, who do you help? Hopefully we've knocked this out the park already, right? In terms of we picked our niche already. Hopefully we've already spoken about it, maybe in the wording, in our banner, and it's starting to come through quite clearly. But for some of it, maybe not exactly, because some of us, we haven't necessarily quote unquote picked a specific niche that we've called out, or a target market. So what you can do is you can expand a little bit on the niche. So maybe you have called it out, but you want to qualify it even further, right? So you want to expand on the target market, or the niche that you identified in your value proposition statement. So in my case, when I'm talking about accountants and financial advisors, right? The reality is, for me, when I'm dealing with accountants, I don't want to deal with all accountants, because all accountants are not equal in my world. So if you think about me, I sell something very specific, right? I'm selling client acquisition training and client acquisition services. So the only accountant that works in my world is an accountant who has that as a responsibility. And there's only one person, there's only one type of accountant whose responsibility it is to bring in new clients, and that's the person that's running their own independent practice. So if you, for example, are a bookkeeper working in practice, even if you're a financial director working in a company, you are not the one that is responsible for bringing in clients. Therefore, when I talk to you about client acquisition, no, you send me to the marketing or the sales department. That's not of interest to you, right? So I need to be a little bit more specific. So I could do that. So instead of just talking about accountants, right, I say I specialize in accountants in public practice. So I've called them out specifically, right? And then I can go even further into it, right? And where I say in South Africa, right? So I'm being very specific because technically I can deal with them anywhere, but let's say I'm dealing locally, and then I can say we've got one to two partners and less than 10 staff. Like that's being ultra specific, right? If you read the message and that's you, that you know in no uncertain terms, I'm speaking to you. Okay. You don't necessarily have to get this granular, but like when you do, it really helps. This 1 to 2 partners thing for me, what I found with that was if I was dealing with more than 2 partners, I could never get a decision. Like you try, deal with 3 accounts. You get 3 accounting partners in a room. Like they can't even do it in their own practice. Never mind to talk about your stuff. Like it's just the hardest thing in the world. That's why I said, okay, if there's 3 partners I'm interested, I want 1 or 2. And typically that could be 10 people, it's generally 10 to 20 staff members. So you see how specific you can be, right? So I'm not just talking about accountants, accountants in public practice in South Africa, that's 2 things. With 1 to 2 partners, that's 3 things with 10 staff or less. Okay, I know a lot about them. I'll be very specific. So that's one thing that you can do. The second thing is, and I love this one a lot, where we agitate the problem. Okay. So you know that big problem that we're solving in our magic message? A lot of the times when people come to us, we're only going to be able to deal with people when we solve problems, right? Nobody moves to you unless you're solving a big problem for them. And so one of the nice things that you can do when you understand that is in your when you're creating your value proposition, and 1 or 2 of you actually did that quite nicely today, is where you hone in and you agitate the problem. So you say, oh, I know you suffer from this, this sort of thing, or you will say, I saw that this happened and this happened and this happened. I don't want this to happen again. Well, now you're just basically stating the problem, right? You're agitating it because this is where you want to solve things. So here I said, after working with hundreds of accountants and financial advisors, I've discovered that, okay? The biggest desire most accountants have is to get more clients. Oh, that's probably not exactly true, but in my world, that's the biggest problem that I can solve, right? Might not be their absolute biggest problem, but obviously I'm speaking from my own experience. Traditional methods of marketing no longer work, and everything has moved online. Okay, so they're starting to feel uncomfortable because they don't know how this works, and most have absolutely no idea how to use online methods. True, right? Because they're busy people. So what I want as I'm agitating the problem is I'm wanting them to be nodding their head saying, yeah. The more times I get them to nod their head yes, by the time I ask them to book a meeting or to accept a connection request, they're going to agree to that, right? So agitating the problem is a good idea. Then you can get more specific into what you do, right? So if your elevator pitch, which is like a little magic message or a little value proposition statement isn't clear, you get to expand on it, right? Because we were limited. We're trying to get everything above the see more button, so we were pressing ourselves, but it might beg for more explanation as to exactly what's happening, right? So here I say I can let my prospects know that I use my proprietary LinkedIn system to help them to book more meetings and just more meetings and sign up more clients, right? So instead of just saying, I help you to generate clients every month, now I expand. Well, we do it on LinkedIn. Like if we were talking about this program, right, I would say something along the lines of, let me just see if it's, I'll cover that in. We'll actually get the next piece. So this is kind of what you do, right, and then this is how you do it, right? So sometimes it's going to make a lot of sense when you're speaking to people for them to say, okay, I've seen that a million times before. Yes, I know. I've spoken to other people that tell me they can generate leads from LinkedIn. So what? How do you do it, right? So now I can you can see I'm saying you're listing your products and services at a high level. So that's one of the things you can do, or you can go into a little bit more detail as to how you actually get into doing what it is you're doing. So I could say here, if I'm listing things, if I'm taking my products and services and listing, not everything, right? Because you'll see we'll do a lot of that in the experience section. And maybe there's like key things that I do, like I include profile rewrites, one-on-one group coaching, done before you, or done with you services to create a system that takes 15 to 30 minutes a day to implement so you can generate leads weekly. Okay, so I'm being a little bit more expansive. Let's maybe use this program as an example, right? So if I go back to this and I say, okay, so what do you do? Well, I've got this program where I bring professionals who service the same type of client base together, and we teach them how to generate leads and clients using LinkedIn, and we try to also facilitate relationships so that they can pass referrals to each other, right? Long-winded explanation, but that's what we do. Then if I get here and say, well, how do we do it? Well, we meet every week for 12 weeks, a 12-week program, right? I'm going to give you notes every week. I'm going to teach you different concepts every week. You'll go and you'll do homework every week. We'll start off by doing, interactive sessions and doing feedback, etc., right? So now I'm giving you a sense of, okay, this is actually what it's like to work with me. So you can see as we sort of take this from the top, if it's relevant, use it. If it's not, don't. Right? So who do you help? Specific. Now you can really call out your ideal client in a lot more detail. If the head fits, wear it. Right? If it doesn't fit, don't. Agitate the problem. Right? This is kind of getting inside their heads, where you're showing them that you actually know what's going on in their heads. Then you're saying, okay, look, this is what I do. List a little bit more detail. So you can list the key things or the main thing, and then if need be, you can go into a little bit of the detail of how you do it, and again, you may be just listing a couple of the ways that you do it. I've given you a worksheet which would probably be a little bit easier than the description that I've just given you. I think there's 6 questions here, right? So again, the first thing, describe who you help, and do it in like as much detail as you can, because this will help you a lot as well in terms of getting your clarity. Even if you don't put that on your LinkedIn profile, okay, doesn't matter. Like the more details you have, particularly when we get into understanding how to use the filters to find these people on LinkedIn, the more details you've got, the better, right? So describe who they are in some detail. Again, then list the 3 biggest problems that your target market struggles with. So that was this idea of agitating the problem. So list 3 issues around the problem, and then like think of it as rubbing salt in the wound, and just like pouring some lemon on it, just to make the problem as big and bad as you can. Then again, what's their biggest problem? We should probably have already solved this in our magic message. What do you do? Right? This is what I do. Just you got what I'm saying here, 1 to 3 bullet points, describing either what you do or describing the product and service. How do you do it? So how do you deliver the product? Right? Sometimes that's relevant and sometimes it isn't. So in that example that I was giving you about how we deliver this program, just think about that if it makes sense. Because like if I say to you, come on this program and show you how to get leads and referrals, it's like, yeah, okay, that's good, I'm interested, but what does that entail, right? You need to have some idea so you can decide, like, am I going to invest the 12 weeks? Does this look like there's going to be a good return on investment? Is it something I'm interested in? Am I prepared to do that? So you essentially we're answering objections by giving people information. And this is quite a nice one if you have something along these lines, where if there's a very significant outcome that you can enunciate fairly clearly, then you should do that. So I could say, like in my program, I say you'll have the ability to generate at least 2 new clients every month. Like that's a very clear outcome. It's something that people want, and it makes a lot of sense. So if you've got something where you can be as clear as that, then go ahead and actually do it. So let me pull this back. You guys have any questions on that?
James?
Yes.
This extended value proposition, where does this fit into the actual LinkedIn page? Is it just the next section? Where does
Yeah,
this go?
so game plan here. So it's a good question. So game plan here is we go through all the individual sections, right? Then at the end, some of us are going to have too much. So we've got 2,600 characters. Then what we're going to do is now you're going to have to cull some stuff out. But also, just because we're going through it in this order doesn't mean that that's the order that you presented. You can mix and match and do whatever it is that you need to do. But we'll do that right at the end. So this is just the next piece. Don't worry about length too much. Write it as you would write it. Like if it's too long, you'll throw some stuff out. Rather that than not having enough stuff. What you're trying to do here is you're thinking clarity. In fact, think of everybody else on this call, right? You want us to understand exactly what your offer is, because hey, we're the ones that have to refer you. So I need to know that I'm referring people to the right offer. So if I've got the right person, right, I need to be able to say to that person, oh, this is what Andre does. I need to be able to explain that to them. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to explain that to us so that we can refer you. Well, that's not, I don't think
Okay,
right,
that feeds into my next question, because as you know, there's this whole profiling and EQ profiling is the spearhead of a lot of services that sit behind it. Can I bring in those additional, like executive coaching and those kind of things? Can I bring it in here, or is it not the right place?
So the answer is it depends. So typically what you're going to bring in here is relatively high level, but then you'll see when we get into the experience section, that's where we bring all the detail in.
Okay.
So you won't go mad with it here, but if they're like 4 or 5 key things that you do, think of them as broad categories. Sure, then bring them in, but don't go into the minutia. We'll do that in the experience section. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Last question. You haven't provided us with the link for these pages.
Well spotted, young man. Well spotted. Thank you for that. Hang on. Yeah, you all owe Andre for that one. I would have completely forgotten. All right, it's coming. It's uploading now. There you go.
Great, thanks.
Oh, thank you for that. Goodness gracious. All right. I'm going to say, guys, this was like a really good effort today. I was quite impressed. I do this a lot with accountants and financial advisors, and they suck generally. They get better, but they go through a very different process to you. In terms of the limited amount of opportunity that we've got, for me to basically give you an instruction, really, give you a little bit of a sense. You guys have been able to actually take that and personalize it, and I think there's some very good efforts, and even the ones that are going to go back to the drawing board, I think there was a lot going on there, and we now know where some of the shortfalls are, where you can go and make improvements. And I didn't actually even have to tell you that. I'm sure every single one of you that felt a bit uncomfortable said, you know what, I know this and I need to do that. So you're already starting to get the feel of it. And I think today also with everybody going through their stories, I think this is probably the day where things start to make a lot more sense, where we're starting to feel we know each other a little bit more. I don't know, how did you guys feel about that?
Yeah, most definitely agree.
Anyway, okay.
I can bet that there is still a lot that we can learn from each other, because I think this exercise was actually very valuable, because what Lamuli said, there is much more we can add even to this LinkedIn page, but sometimes we are like resistant. We just don't feel like sharing, and don't feel like just like coming out from the inside outside.
Yeah.
So
I would say to you on that point, it's an interesting point. It's like, don't do what you're uncomfortable with. Okay, so the goal here is not to push you to do something that you don't want to do for whatever reason. The reason is irrelevant, right? It's your reason. Like if I was coaching you one-on-one and you came up with something, I would challenge you on it for sure. But if you gave me the reason, I would let it go, and you should do the same thing. I'm just telling you what works, and you're starting to see, and you'll see now, because one of these days you guys are going to be looking at LinkedIn profiles, right? You send your 100 connection requests a week, and then you're going to see the drivel that people put on their LinkedIn profiles. And one of the big advantages of you going through the system is you will start to recognize what a good profile is and what a poor profile is. And these things will matter later, because you'll see when you're choosing the profile, you need to try to determine two things. The first thing is that person actually your ideal client, right? So a lot of this is you getting clear on that. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are a little bit more clear on that than you were when you started. And the second thing is, are they actually active on LinkedIn, right? And so this process is actually inadvertently teaching you that. And you'll see the great value of that when you actually start doing this. You'll go through LinkedIn profiles like in a heartbeat. You'll do a search and you'll say, yes, yes, no, yes, no. Eventually you'll get to that point, and it's really quick. So that thing of having to send, 20 connection requests a day, piece of cake.
But what I wanted to say in my statement is, but only from the personal feeling, is that sometimes we don't feel like going outside to people to share with something, but listening to the statements of other members of this meeting, it gives us a little bit, okay, but why not? If others can do it, maybe I shouldn't just hide this or that. Yeah, maybe I should talk about myself in a, let's say, better way without no shame, because this could be also a point.
Think about any celebrities that we know, particularly those that are involved in the personal development space and the motivation space. Think about every single one, and they all tell you a story. We all know Tony Robbins' story.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know.
There's a reason Tony told you that story from when he was 19 years old. So he's doing it from a marketing perspective, but he's also doing it from the perspective of that's what happened. This is the stuff that resonates. So yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to do it. The only reason to not do it is if you're not comfortable with it for any reason, and that's perfectly legitimate. But I promise it helps you a lot, and you'll know this later on, right? When you start doing the outreach and you start communicating with people, right? And they start coming back to you and telling you, oh, your story was inspiring. And they'll say to you, geez, I'm going through, or I went through something similar, then you'll start to understand the resonance and the incredible strong bond that people form with you, even though they don't know you. So weird thing, but it's definitely a thing.
I was saying to Yvonne this morning, what this training has done for me, what these sessions have done for me is and I thought I'd done a lot of introspection in my life. You know my story more, and I thought I'd done a lot of introspection in my life, and all of a sudden I'm standing here and I'm going, okay, maybe there's more to learn, and it's almost like gone, no, your story is not done yet, your learning opportunity is not done yet, and that has been quite a challenge, is going, what are you wanting to keep safe versus sharing it and resonating with other people,
Yeah. Also remember, when you share your story, you don't have to share all the details. So you can share a story that gets the point across and keep some stuff that's real personal back.
Yeah.
Like if you we had a situation last year. I think it was Yvonne was feeling a little bit uncomfortable in terms of possibly implicating someone. So you don't need to do that. Like if there's sensitive information and it's obvious because I can see from the profile where you work for, whatever, like then don't do it. But if it's not, by all means, we don't want to cause harm, and also you have to think of it from the perspective of you don't want people throwing stones at you for no reason, and you don't want to be putting your potential clients off for any reason. When you create a story, don't be sensationalist just to create division or derision. I know a lot of people say, if you do that and you take a stand, but like or most of us know. Right. Yeah, just sort of consider it from that perspective, and just say the important things that you need to say and the things that don't need to be said. Just keep them out, but you can still get the essence of your story across. Anything else?
No, thank you so much for all the knowledge.
Well done. Very good effort today. I have to say, very, very impressed with you guys today. This next bit's not too bad. Actually gets a lot easier from here. This is the hardest bit now. From now, it really is relatively straightforward to power through the rest of this. Now that you've got this all under control, you might need to apply your minds a little bit to what you say. So think of it this way: when you are sitting in front of somebody and you're explaining to them what you do, they're going to ask questions because they have the ability. Or you start explaining something and then you see that the person's eyebrow raises, or there's something. Then you can stop and you can readjust and you can answer the question. So essentially the objections. Your profile as the 24/7 salesperson does not have the ability to do that. So just think about, okay, what are the things that they would want to know about me in order to deal with me? And just put that down. And it can even be stuff that I didn't cover now. If you feel there's something that's pertinent to your product or service, then yeah, just say it. And if there's nothing, there's nothing. But just have a go and let people know as much as you can, so that all questions, or as many questions as possible, are answered. All right. In that case, I will see you fine people all same time, same place next week.
Thank you so much to see you.
Thank you, James.
All right.
Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.